Hello everyone. I have some good news. I took a day off. A day off of work usually for me is going home, taking a rest, completing a task that needs to be completed. Since I'm over the road, you need days off to complete your errands. For instance, picking up your mail, going to the dentist, having cleaned, going to the doctor's office and having yearly checkup. Those were completed on this day off, so I'm blessed. My doctor, before, remember I told you the update was, I have high cholesterol and that my liver has a little bit of damage. So that's actually improved, but it's not the quite that we were, hoping to be in. So, but later on after this video, I'll show you guys what the difference is between high cholesterol and that warning. And then there's a part where it says you're good, you're regular, see you next year for another checkup. Basically all it is watch what you eat. You must complete and make sure that you don't have complete and change your lifestyle. Lifestyle means you have to be in, lagi kang mag-change para huwag kang kain ng mga fast food, huwag kang kain ng mga langis, tapos lagi kang kumakain ng prutas tsaka mga gulay, yun ang mga healthy sa yun, di ba? Para you have a longer life. Make sure you're healthy, and when you go back to work, magdadrive ka, diba? Then you're healthy. You ate nothing but your vegetables and fruits. You ate oatmeal. In the Philippines, I've never been there, but I searched on Google, all the foods and everything else, all the drinks that you need. You basically, it's the same thing as what you eat here in America, but just maybe a little bit upgraded because you're in America. Philippines, they got good food and money. Spend a lot of money for the groceries. But that's another thing that I will vlog about when I go to the Philippines next year. Basically plan for me to go back to the Philippines. That's very important before, I start making decisions of where should I live. Saan kaya tayo titira sa America? I'm still, a resident here in the United States. It's not like, I can't come back here. This is where I live. But then again, I'm also a citizen in the Philippines, so I have places that I can be in the Philippines. I can save money, buy a house. I can definitely afford all that. Same thing as I am here in the Philippines, in the United States. The only difference is I have to work here in the United States, save all the money, and then go to the Philippines and then buy a house. But it's a progress. You go into major steps, step 1, 2, 3, just like this health-wise. Diba sinabi ko sa iyo dati nung una, I have a bad news kasi yung aking liver at saka ang cholesterol ay sobrang taas. Ibig sabihin nun, caution, you're doing something wrong. Sabi naman ngayon ng doktor, ng update natin, sabi okay, you're improving, but then we're not where we quite our goal is, which I'll show you the results that I got from attending the doctor. Anyways, as health-wise, I gotta stop eating, fast food and very greasy foods just so we can be healthy. Also, what else? Well, I'm going back to work from my home time. Siguro, it's been 12 weeks out and 1 week in. My debt, I paid for my credit card debt, and there's 2 credit card debts that will be gone, so I'm happy about that as well. And I just have 1 left, and I should be do it. But I'll catch up with you later. I'm going back to my truck, and it needs a little work. But it's a truck, gets me places, and you know, I make and earn money from that as well. But I'll check up with you later. You know, I'm just very happy that I'm making for the doctor. Is not where the goal is, but deep inside me, since I'm in this place, you know, I have family, but they're far away. You know, their work, and you know, I missed all these very important dates to go spend time with my family. But even though I don't spend time with them, you know, I'm also making progress, like, you know, paying my bills off, paying my credit card off. Come to think of it, my student loan is 45% paid off. You know, next thing you know, I'll have all that off, and you know, 25%. What's 25% of your debt? You know, that's almost paid off, right? So I'm just happy that you know, that you know, that's paid off, which is good. So by the time, you know, next year or so, I'll be good. Or 2 more years, this will be paid off. Pero hindi ko alam ang plano natin sa mga susunod na taon. Siguro next year there'll be a different plan. The year after that, merong different plan. But you know, I just love how we're making progress, and also don't like how we improve ourselves because we're getting older. But overall, you know, we're in good condition. But you hear about me more all throughout this OTR while I'm out driving, and you know, of course, on duty. Yes, absolutely. So, but I'll catch up with you guys, and you guys stay safe, and hear the rest of my blog later when I get back to the truck. Bye bye.